So here is, and this is the same site. There's a kiosk upstairs here that has this, and I have to go in and reset that because it's a new web address for 2011. But maybe, I don't remember the fellow's name.
Andy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe I can run into him at some point and we can get that switched over.
He's probably
We'll do it in the next few days.
Yeah.
But the idea here is that, again, there's not a lot of data to show because we only started taking data at around noon. But what's here, there are all these basic fields, and on any one of these you can click on the panel and it'll show you a sort of a larger image. It'll show you all of the data that's been collected. Whoops, we need to trim that. But it also has a little description at the bottom that shows the sensor and has a little description of why we care about this particular measurement. And so, go back. So if you go to, you don't even need this index here. If you just go to that site right there, at the top, you can hardly make it out. I'll tell you what.
I did, on your links today, Dr. Austin's main website is there, and you can just add buoy _2011 to that.
Right.
So I did put that on your website list that you're going to get in your folders.
So, there's so yeah, and as the season goes on, it becomes a little more interesting. Again, you know, it's one of these things where any one of these observations, in and of itself, may not be all that interesting. So you're looking at data from just one buoy, or just looking at those thermistors from the day. But it's worth keeping in mind that anytime we're doing that, it's part of a much bigger program. You know, we've had something at that site for a couple of years, and we have lots of different sites. And it's looking at those sorts of comparisons, looking at how it changes from year to year, from site to site. It's really very, very interesting.
Can the data be downloaded?
Yes.
It's like if a high school science class wanted to take the data, put it into an Excel spreadsheet, and create some graphs.
Right. Yes, it is available. So my recollection is I actually, for my own, it's hidden in here. You don't see it. What's it called? So these are, oh, maybe not. Maybe it's case sensitive. So the actual data is hidden behind there. You don't really see it. This is data from that thermistor string. And what you see, the first number there is obviously the date and the time. And then the numbers after that are the temperatures at all the different depths. Wow. So you can see at the surface now it's 1.4 degrees, and it's sort of 1.3 or 1.4 degrees throughout the entire water column right now. So I could make that available. This is probably not the best format. My guess is that, especially because it has a header and because it has this oddball formatting here, I have no idea what would happen if you tried to load that into Excel. But if somebody had an idea for how to use that in a high school classroom, then I would be more than happy to work with them to provide it in a more useful format. You know, it's easy to write little reformatters and stuff like that so that it popped out in a nice flat ASCII format that would be useful. But it'd be something that I think you would, I think it might be difficult to do in the form that it's in. If there's interest in that, then, you know, so much the better. I like the idea that it gets used for something. So. Yeah.
How was it? You've been collecting the data on the surface. Have you done any of the comparison to how accurate the satellite images are for temperature versus your actual?
Oh, I have not, but I think I mentioned, oh no, I didn't mention. So one of the more, did I talk about the satellite? Oh, so there's a guy named Phil Schneider at, I guess he's at JPL right now, and he did a paper last year, I think one of the better papers on the topic in the last several years, taking satellite data, like you suggest, and looking at lake surface temperatures from 160 lakes around the world. Amazing what you can do with satellite, right? And indeed, in all of the mid to high latitude lakes, we see roughly the same rate. We see warming. They're not all the same rate. They're all different depths and different sizes and stuff like that. And there are lots of things that sort of the rate of warming is a set of circumstances rather than some monolithic thing. But you see this rate of, they're all warming. None of them are cooling off. And as part of that paper, yes, he took data from the U.S. Great Lakes, because we have these long buoy records, and compared them to the satellite data, and they were met. Yeah, so they're useful, and they have been ground truth. So I thought I threw in a picture from Phil's paper here. See if